Sound of Hockey episode 348. This is Darren Brown at Darren Fun Brown. We can call this one the Mark Messier episode because he had 348 career multi-point games. So how about that? I am flying solo at the moment. You'll hear John in a little bit. Curtis actually he's out on another unapproved vacation. So I don't know how he keeps getting away with these things, sliding them past us, but it does happen. Nonetheless, we managed to hold down the fort without him this week. Now, in a way, we're under promising and over delivering here this week. I had to think about how that was in my head. Under promising, over delivering, because I think we warned you guys that we may not have an episode this week. Well, it turned out that we had an amazing interview lined up with Mason Marchment, which we got to talk to him at Kraken Community Iceplex, and it was a fantastic conversation. So I think you guys are going to love that, and I think you're going to love him as a player when he starts to make himself known a little bit more to Kraken fans. I think that he brings a certain gritty element on the ice, but then off the ice, he's mild-mannered, very friendly, very down to earth, just seems like a generally great dude. So we do talk about his story a little bit, which is really interesting. He doesn't make it to the NHL until his mid-20s, and realistically, he'll tell you that it wasn't always his plan to play in the NHL. He just kind of kept taking the next step. He was playing multiple sports, and it took him a long road to get to where he is, but he's a very productive NHL player now, and he's going to be a key piece of the Seattle Kraken team. One piece of important Seattle Kraken news from the last week that I will touch on here before we get into the interview is Riker Evans signs a 2-year extension with the team at average annual value of $2.05 million. So for a guy that's going to play, probably third or even second line minutes at times, a young developing defenseman, I think that's a really good number for both teams. For him, he's got to be happy with that, making $2+ million. But then for the team, that's very reasonable against the cap and still gives them some wiggle room if they want to add here before training camp or even before the start of the season. It is great to get it done in advance of training camp too, just so that it's not hanging over their heads. And also, this means that with the 2-year deal, he'll still be a restricted free agent at the end of this contract. So they'll have to go through another negotiation at that point. Then he will have arbitration rights, which he didn't have this past time. But still, it means that Seattle will retain his rights or do whatever they want to do with him effectively at the end of this 2-year deal. So again, I think good for both sides, good to get it done, and kind of the last piece of outstanding business that we all knew was coming. Now, is there any other piece of business coming? We don't know that, but we shall see. Check out soundofhockey.com. That's soundofhockey.com. I wrote about which of the rookies we think will have an impact this season. Effectively, I boiled it down to Berkeley Catton, Yanni Newman, and potentially Jacob Melanson. And realistically, I do think one of them is on the team for at least a lot of the season. Maybe two of them, it kind of depends on what happens here. If they do add another forward, which could box somebody out, or if somebody gets injured, which almost surely will happen, right? Somebody gets injured every season, then there will be spots that open up. So from doing the exercise and writing about it, I am more and more thinking that there's probably another ad coming just because it feels like they don't have a lot of depth if somebody does get hurt. They don't have a lot of players that can jump in and immediately fill as an NHL player. So I have to think there's probably something else coming, but we shall see how much they want to rely on these rookies this season. All right. All that said, let's get to our interview with Mason Marchment. We now welcome on to Sound of Hockey a very special guest. He's played parts of 6 NHL seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Florida Panthers, and Dallas Stars. He's scored 76 career goals and 113 career assists. He's played in 59 playoff games. He scored 22 goals in each of the last 2 seasons, and he was acquired by your Seattle Kraken in a trade this offseason. He is number 27 in your program, but could quickly become number 1 in your hearts. He is Mason Marchment. Mason, welcome to Seattle. Thank you so much for making time for us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How was that intro?
That was awesome.
Okay.
That was electric.
Good. Can I ask you to get a little closer to your microphone? You can. Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
All right, we're going to start off with something very hard-hitting here. First off, I understand you have a very cute dog named Milo. Can you confirm or deny? What can you tell us about Milo?
Very cute. more like a human than a dog.
Mm-hmm.
He's if he doesn't get a pillow in bed, then he's huffing and puffing. He's
Same, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's awesome, and he's excited to be here. It's a good spot for him.
I can't imagine he's met many of the other Kraken dogs yet. Is that
Just
right?
Monty's.
Monty's, okay.
Yeah, they're good friends with Lib and Ginge. Monty's dogs there.
Cheddar McCann has a pretty good love around here. Cheddar the corgi. Yeah.
Okay.
So feel free to report back once he meets Cheddar. Slightly more hard hitting. So you obviously got traded this off season. Was that a request by you so that you could rejoin your favorite PR person, Kyle Showtime Shohara?
I think he was the one that put in the request. That's
Okay.
what I was.
Smart. That's good.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Slightly more serious. You do obviously get traded. I think there's probably never a great time to get traded, especially when you're coming off of a couple great seasons as you did. That being said, I think you said in past interviews and your introductory press conference, you kind of knew it was coming, right?
Yeah.
So what's the roller coaster of emotions that you went through getting that news, though?
Yeah, it's a lot. I think honestly, for me, the most thing is like the connection with the guys I had in Dallas. There's a couple guys there that I was really close with, and that's one of the toughest things. Just leave those guys behind, and but yeah, just looking forward. I mean, I'm excited to have a new start and get a fresh start in a new place and experience some new stuff. So I'm excited for that, but definitely was a whirlwind, just being there for 3 years and 3 Western Conference Finals and maybe some unfinished business, but definitely excited to join the Kraken.
What happens when you get that call? Like as far as like the onboarding process with Seattle, like you probably get a couple of calls from the team, and then how do you start coordinating your move out here?
So yeah, I mean, Jim called me, and then obviously, everyone here, I probably had, 5 or 6, 7 calls, from guys in this organization. And, it's always nice to, get the call and, talk to them and get comfortable with those guys. And, it was, it happened all pretty quick. My wife's pregnant, so we had to kind of get down here early and get settled in, which is also nice. But it's good.
Yeah, good so far.
And you just alluded to it with the close friendship between Milo and the Montour dog. But I know you're very close friends with Brandon Montour as well from your playing days or I guess from your days in Florida together.
Yep.
What can you tell us about him, both on and off the ice? Because one thing that I took about him is, like, I know he's a great player, but I feel like he flies under the radar a little bit for just how good he is. And it didn't really click in my brain until I started watching him every game as a member of the Kraken last season. I'm like, holy crap, this dude is really good, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about him both as a player and as a person.
Well, as a player, like you just said, he's really good. He's a really good skater, can move the puck, good first pass, good shot, gets a lot of stuff to the net, which is something I like. And he's an easy guy to overlook, like you said, I feel like sometimes, but he's definitely got that it factor. He does it all basically, right? So, and then off the ice, he's just a great guy. He's a good human, good person. He's a good friend, and he's always positive, good attitude, brings the energy. I like that kind of stuff. So it's going to be good to kind of reunite with him.
You're well known throughout the league right now, but it did take you quite a while to get to the NHL, and you had quite the journey getting there, including, I don't think you made your debut in the OHL until you were 19.
Yeah, 19, yeah.
And what was that? What was your mind space like that whole time? I mean, were you always thinking about the NHL and that was your goal, or did you just kind of one step in front of the other kind of thing?
Yeah, for me, growing up, I never really played too much hockey. I kind of played basketball and soccer and kind of everything else. But I always loved hockey. So, once I kind of turned 17, 18, my dad's like, you got to pick a sport basically. So I was like, all right, I'll pick hockey. And then, basically from there. Couple of years in the major midget, and then 1 year in the OJHL. It's junior league out there, and then basically 19-20 in the O. But just kind of putting one foot in the front of the other and enjoying it. I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. I like to enjoy myself, and just put the work in. And the biggest thing for me was when I went to Toronto. My first year, I didn't play maybe more than 30 games, and basically all I did was work out and skate. So just to develop a little bit, and I skated a lot with Barb Underhill. She, I've said it many times, I probably wouldn't be playing in the NHL if it wasn't for her. So she was huge, and then just day by day and trying to get better every day.
And Justin Bourne wrote an article about you back in 2017 about spending kind of a season in Orlando.
So it wasn't really a season. So I would go down for home games for Orlando.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was kind of nice, but so I would go down for home games, and I would come back and work out and skate.
And basically. So there was like a deliberate plan about that entire thing, and you were on board with all of that.
Yeah.
What did that do for you?
I think it just helped me kind of like get settled in the it's a big jump, especially for someone who only played 2 years in the OHL and then going right to the AHL. It's a big jump for some guys, and for me, I think just that year of just development and strength training, and I don't know if you guys know, but so when I was going into grade 11, I was like 5'6", 5'5". So then my end of year grade 11, I was like 6'1", 6'2". So I was a pretty.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, pretty lanky. I'm still a little lanky, but pretty lanky, skinny guy. So that year was huge for me. Just fill in and kind of growing in my body a little bit.
Yeah. See, for me, I had a big jump from 5'7" to 5'8".
Yeah, that's what the normal one is. Yeah, yeah.
And then I just stayed right there. Yeah. So John got shorter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah. By the way, so before we started recording, I'm a goalie. I grew up playing goalie, which I think height didn't help me too much in retrospect. But looking at me, do you think you could score on me?
Just looking at you, I think so. Yeah.
Where would you shoot?
Anywhere.
Damn. All right.
Just got to shoot it hard.
Just through him. Yeah.
John, he doesn't score on me.
Yeah.
Some guys score on me a lot, but
I don't hit the net. That's
Kyle?
the problem. Yeah.
Kyle scoring on you?
I haven't actually been on the ice with Kyle yet.
We need to get those two together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what was
I
think
so.
Yeah.
He picks his spots.
Yeah,
So
all right.
Kyle's pretty sneaky about that.
Kyle said he would snipe on me. I don't know. We'll see.
We've talked to a couple undrafted players before, and sometimes they've called out the disappointment of not being drafted. It helps fuel them and kind of their energy in going forward. But it sounds like based on your timeline and your kind of focus, like you weren't necessarily on that path to be quote unquote disappointed.
Yeah. No, I never really expected to get drafted or anything like that. And honestly, I really wasn't sure after the OHL what was going to happen. And then obviously Kyle Dubas saw something in me that he liked, and basically gave me a chance to kind of develop into that player. So
do you think, hopefully you don't take this the wrong way, but like not having that focus when you were younger like provided more energy as an adult and kind of like honing your skills? Because
I don't know.
You sometimes these kids are on the ice
you
so
see
much
them burn out
at
for sure.
12 years old,
Yeah.
doing camps and you might be done with the sport by the time you're 18 just because you've done so much of it.
Yeah.
But maybe it just gave me a fresh look.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that's who knows? I mean, some kids I grew up with kids that were obviously way better than me and just kind of burnt out. So, but I think there definitely is an advantage to being a little bit of a head start and yeah, for sure.
Well, and you have your upbringing, obviously, you know what it takes. You get that kind of firsthand perspective too of like, realistically, this is how hard I have to work to make it, right? Like, yeah. And one thing that kind of crosses my mind too is like, you don't really, looking back, like you didn't really establish yourself as a full-time NHLer until you're 25 years old or 26?
Yeah, 25. Yeah, actually, I in my mind, I think maybe I have played earlier, but I had quite a bit of injuries to kind of set me back, and just grinding through those. And I think I had 3 surgeries in like 7 months one year. So yeah, just grinding and, just trying to make it. That's all it was.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, as you're going through that and you spend time in the ECHL, is there ever a point where you're like, maybe I just go a different way and get into doing something else? Or did you just like continue on the road saying, body will tell me when it's time to stop?
I mean, you guys will see I'm a pretty competitive person.
Yeah.
Really competitive. So, if you tell me I can't really do it, I'm going to do it. So that's just
awesome.
the way I roll. So,
but see, it's funny, you're so mild mannered, and like, everybody we talk to about you, he's such a personable, nice guy, but then he gets on the ice and he's extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Like, what happens in your brain when you get on the ice?
It's not just on the ice. I mean, we play sewer or anything, spike ball. I just like to compete. That's just who I am. I play card game. I'm competitive. So, but yeah, I'm pretty laid back. Like to think I'm a nice guy. So, but on the ice, it definitely changes.
You mentioned injuries, and you had one this past year, which was very plain for everyone to see what happened. You took a pretty hard shot to the face, a little friendly fire in a game against Minnesota.
Yeah.
What do you remember from that experience?
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
What I remember is my nose was basically over on the other side of my face, and my face was pretty shattered. So, that was a tough one. Just based on the fact I couldn't really rehab it, basically, because I had to let everything heal before I started to kind of train and get back into the swing of things. So that was probably the hardest part about it. But that was a tough one.
Okay, so this is probably a weird question, but we talked to a young player in the Kraken organization, Nathan Villeneuve, had a goal go in off of his tooth playing junior, and he was like, I didn't even know it happened until the guys were like, oh, you're bleeding like crazy. Like, when that happens, does your body react in a way that you know you've been hit in the face, but what does it hurt?
So I actually think I got hit in the face 3 times with a puck last year.
Okay.
And 4 with a stick. So it was insane.
Yeah.
But the first time I actually got hit in the face here, also by friendly fire, I think I get 8 stitches there.
There's a little scar there.
Yeah, a little scar there. Yeah. And then so actually what happened was I got hit right here under my eye, and it broke the nose in 7 pieces, and then shattered all this. So a couple plates, and yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's keep your face out of there.
Yeah.
So that did happen in front of the net.
Yeah.
And you tend to make a living
Yep.
out of being in front of the net. Is that something you've kind of developed as your kind of your career developed, or is it something you always kind of had a knack for hanging out there?
Yeah, I think I always kind of had a little knack for hanging out at the net. I mean, just growing up and with a dad that played, and those little tips and tricks, sometimes he would give me is just, if you want to score goals, you got to go to the net. So
easy for him to say because he was a defenseman, right?
Yeah, easy. Yeah. He's the one standing there.
He's the one hitting his teammates in the face with slap shots.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the tips and tricks then for playing in that area, would you say?
Just getting there, getting to the right spot, body positions. Basically, majority of the thing is just getting good body position and kind of getting on the right side of those guys so you can tip it, or if there is a rebound, get to the rebound first and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Yeah, sounds easy.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess last one. Well, we got a couple more for you here that we've written down. Couple Kraken players from the Ontario area. I guess that's pretty common across the NHL, but have you crossed paths with a lot of Kraken players previously? Do you know the guys here a little bit?
I know Dunn a little bit. Obviously Monty McCann I worked out with for a summer at Matty Nickel. I've skated with Alexiak maybe once or twice, but other than that, Mahura, I know Mahura a bit. That's basically it.
Okay. That was a really hard-hitting question that we just asked there. And then from Dallas, I know you're also good buddies with Ottinger. What happened this past year, and you can tell me to kick rocks if you don't want to answer this, but with Pete DeBoer saying what he said about him after game 6, whatever it was, where you guys season ended, where it kind of in a way cost Pete DeBoer his job. It sounded like. What was your take on all that? Like, did you think what he said was? Did you think he was trying to take a shot at your buddy Ottinger there? Like, what was your reaction as a player?
Yeah, I mean, as a friend, you never really like to see that, and he was my best friend on the team, so it's kind of hard to see that. And as knowing Jake, he's also a competitor, and he hates to lose just as much as I do. So
and a phenomenal goalie,
and a phenomenal goalie. And in my head, we wouldn't be there without him there. So for me, I don't think that was maybe the right call, but I'm not the coach, and it's sometimes they have feelings, and he really stuck to his. So. But yeah, I don't think Jakey deserved that. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and the coaches are in charge, and whatever they say kind of goes. So
yeah, and I know we asked you about this at your intro press conference too. But playing against the Kraken in round 2 when the Kraken were in the playoffs a couple years ago, I was at Game 7 when you guys won, and in that game, my perspective, I'm watching the Kraken more closely. Obviously, it looked to me like they almost just ran out of gas, like they were playing with house money effectively. Nobody really expected them to be there. What was that game and that series like from your perspective, or what do you even remember about it? I know you've played in a lot of series this
Yeah, it was that was a long time ago, but yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the Kraken, that was three or 4 years ago.
3
years ago?
2 full seasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they had quite a bit of different group, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were like a really hard team to play against back then. So I mean, let's hopefully we can get back to that. And but for the most part, there was just a lot of guys working, and that's hard to play against when everyone's kind of on the same page working like that. So
yeah, and maybe that's also why it looked like they ran out of gas, because it's kind of a hard way to play it too, I think.
Yeah.
But, okay, and then I guess the last one I'll ask is just you mentioned that you and your wife are expecting, kind of crazy to be changing cities and all that in the middle of all this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for her mostly. I mean, yeah, she's been awesome, and she's feeling great. So, we're really excited for that, and yeah, it's just new city and new things. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah. I mean, she's I think we're 6 or 7 weeks out, so it's getting close, and yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. Anything else from you, John?
No, hard-hitting one for me. As you're familiar with the Toronto area. I plan to go up there for the first game. If there's a neighborhood you could recommend to kind of hang out for like a morning for breakfast or for
a neighborhood,
yeah, in Toronto.
A neighborhood. I mean, are you looking for like breakfast or?
Yeah, breakfast, and then maybe some coffee shops. Just a nice area.
All right.
I got friends from like Whitby and Scarborough.
Yeah, so that's more where I'm from.
Okay.
Like
so it's not.
Yeah,
but you lived.
I did live
in
in
the Marlies.
Yeah, I played in the Marlies for 5 years. Yeah, so I was mostly. There's nothing really too crazy like breakfast spots. I would say like Cora's, and like there's just like the standard ones. I mean, more lunch spots like Wilbur. Have you ever heard of Wilbur?
No. I've never been to Toronto. So
okay,
I'm
you've never
really
been.
Excited.
So lunch spot, I would say Wilbur.
Okay.
It's really good. It's like fajitas and like a little Mexican.
Okay.
It's really good. For dinner, probably one of my favorite spots, Lee. It's called Lee.
Okay.
He was on, I forget which cooking show.
Is that reservations required kind of thing?
I don't know anymore. When it first opened, it was pretty, but it's really good. Like really, really good.
Oh, you get me hungry.
So it's a little out of downtown. It's more towards the beaches. So
I probably want to get out of downtowns because I'll just.
You don't really want to go too far.
Okay.
Because then it's
a little dicey.
Yeah, getting back. Yeah.
It's a big city.
Yeah.
It's a very large city.
Yeah.
I know.
Lots of traffic.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't want to go too far from where you are.
All right. Good recommendation.
There's a good sushi spot.
Well, sushi's tough because here is so good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, stay away from the sushi then.
If you need sushi recommendations, I got plenty.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that we come down here on the road. Sushi's.
Oh, that's right. And there was like one year you had like 2 back-to-back.
That was
back-to-back.
The last 2 seasons we've had that.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
5 days in Seattle. So you've probably already seen all the touristy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
it's fun.
All right, so what's the best sushi restaurant in Seattle?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
I like Kashiba. That one's pretty great. I'm actually not that big of a
There's one
sushi guy.
right across the street from the Four Seasons. That's
Japanesa.
That's our.
Japanese.
That would be our go-to.
On the corner of
right on the corner.
That's a pretty popular one downtown.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, we've really dug deep here. This has been great, though, Mason. Welcome to Seattle. Thank you very much for making time for us. I know it's a crazy week for you and all that. So we really appreciate it. Great to have you here and wishing you the very best this season.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
That was super fun. Hope you all enjoyed that very much. I know I certainly did enjoy talking to him, and I'm excited to get to work with him a little bit more this season as it goes on. Hey, big thanks to Kyle Shahara. I know that we mentioned him there in the interview, but he was the one that helped us get connected and get that interview, so we really appreciate him having us out to Kraken Community Iceplex to talk to Mason Marchment during his whirlwind trip to Seattle. Again, hope you guys enjoyed that. That's the end of the episode. Just a nice short one. Leave your 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on next week's show. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on Spotify. And we will talk to you all very soon for episode 349. Cheers.